We got Pat the designer joining the show today. And on today's episode, we got to talk about those Chicago Bulls. What's at stake for the Chicago Bulls, if anything? We're going to talk about some of these young guys. Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu. Little of this, little of that. And then we're going to end it off with some of that off-season talk. Y'all know we're going to talk about it and break it down. But you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shot Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding down with my co-host CDubb. And Pat the designer is joining us today. Pat, how you feeling, my guy?
Hey, what's going on, boys? How y'all doing, man? Y'all act like y'all didn't know your boy. You know what I mean? Listen, ESPN is the team, you know what I mean? But that don't mean I don't remember where the team is from. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, bro.
No, we
shout out to Pat, bro.
For sure. How everything is on your side, my guy?
Man, YouTube messing with me, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm pouring one up to him, you know what I mean?
Hey, they definitely be trying to keep a brother down. But for those that are joining us today, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're tuning in with us today. Pat, we know the Chicago Bulls right now. It seems like they give us a lot of excitement and then a lot of heartbreak at the same time. Even every time they try to push you away, they do something to keep pulling you back. 32-35 record, 9th seed in the Eastern Conference. What are the Chicago Bulls playing for, if anything? What's at stake for them?
Listen, I mean, at this point, you're playing to see what your team is going to be moving forward. You got some young guys that have really stepped up. Ayo Dosunmu, Kobe White, Julian Phillips, Unuralp. I don't know what his last name is anymore. KC going with Bidham. Adam Amin goes with Bateem. I like Bateem better. Amin seems like he knows what he's talking about. Yeah, right. I mean, so I'm gonna go with Bateem. His mama named Bateem. I'm gonna name Bateem. I think that you have some really nice young pieces on this team moving forward. And realistically speaking, the biggest thing that the Chicago Bulls have, the biggest bright spot that the Bulls have coming out of this season is the fact that young guys have stepped up and played well. I mean, you got Kobe White on a really good deal. You got Ayo Dosunmu on a really good deal because of what they've been able to do this season. But if we're talking about what the team is playing for, that's up to AK. That's up to AK, because I'll tell you this right now. The team's not different. It just feels better because new guys are making better plays. The team is not different. The team's not better. The team's not all of a sudden everything that you see is sunshine and rainbows, because guess what? This team has been a one basket difference between their offensive and defensive rating for the entire time that AK has been here. Guess what? There's still a one basket difference between their offensive and defensive rating. That's why they lead the NBA in clutch games that they had to play. I believe it's at 38 right now. Now the record for clutch games much better this season. I believe it's 23 and 15, something like that. So a really good record in the clutch this year. And I love the fact that they've stepped up in that way. But let's be real, boys. You're in the clutch for a reason. You're in the clutch because your defense is doing just enough for your offense to catch up. This team still has issues. Who's shooting three-pointers on a consistent basis? I tell you this, it's not Leroy Carter.
Not Leroy.
It's not Leroy. Like, who's shooting the three ball on a consistent basis that you feel confident in? And yes, the Bulls are missing some key pieces, but what are the Bulls playing for to finish out this season, for the remainder of the season? The Bulls are playing for their own, because there's 82 games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like there's anything amazing you're getting out of this. We know what Kobe White is at this point. We know what Ayo Dosunmu is at this point. You hope to see something from the team. You hope to see something from Phillips. But is Billy Donovan going to play him? Nobody knows. That's the revolving carousel of Billy Donovan. And realistically speaking, you're playing the rest of this season because the league mandated that every team has to play 82 games, and the Bulls are in the play-in, so at a minimum 83.
For sure, CDubb.
Yeah. I must admit that the Chicago Bulls is my heroine. I love them, but they're just bad for me, bro. Yeah. It's just a bad drug. The Chicago Bulls, what are they looking forward to for this season? Let's be actual. Let's be literal. They trying to get into that 7th and 8th seed. They're trying to get into the 7th and 8th seed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Pat. Go ahead.
It doesn't change. Well, yeah, you're still in the play-in, and realistically speaking, yes, you're trying to get into the 7th or 8th seed. But what are they playing for right now? What are they hoping to get to? I mean, at best, right, the playoffs. You're hoping to be in the playoffs. Like I'll say this, and here's the one thing that I've said about the Bulls: an above 600 win percentage is impressive when you're talking about winning in the clutch. The play-in allows you to be that kind of team. The play-in allows you to beat a team once, beat a team twice if you need to, because now you're in a position where, oh, snap, right? Bulls right now sitting at the 9th seed. They only need one win. You get one win, you in.
Yeah.
Right? So you get one win, you're in the tournament, you feel a lot better about it. And guess what? Now all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're looking at the team and you're saying, well, in the clutch, that's good enough to get into the playoffs. Now, when you look at the playoffs, you got to play Boston in the first round. Guess what? Not gonna be good.
It's not.
So realistically speaking, what are you in for? Maybe you're in for a first round exit. But I don't know what the extent of these young guys, if they're able to get themselves into the playoffs without Zach LaVine, without Patrick Williams, without all of those pieces that are very important to this team defensively and offensively, what they're going to be when they get into those playoffs. But at a minimum, I think at this point, you're just playing for at least one play-in win to try and get you into the playoffs. And yeah, probably a first-round exit.
And that's exactly right. And that's where I was going to go at. You're trying to get into the playoffs and win a game in the play-in and get yourself in the real playoffs. And then you're going to get your ass kicked in the first round of the playoffs.
It don't look good, but you never know. I mean, listen, maybe Jason Tatum slips on some baby oil that he's got in the crib because he definitely keeps it around for the hair, and you get an opportunity to win the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, and when the Chicago Bulls, this is what they really playing for, right? Because we heard all the talk in the beginning of the season, like this team can work. You hear Nick Vooch, I hated when he opened his mouth and said that we need leaders on this team and opening his mouth. I said he's not like that. He let DeMar say that. But they're playing for pride right now. This, especially the core three. When you talk about Vooch, you talk about DeMar, but not Zach anymore. Because Zach, I think he's out. He's already off the team right now. You know what I'm saying? Not seriously, but he's off. I think they're looking to just salivate. What's the word I'm looking for?
Salivate definitely can't be it.
That can't be it. That's why I stopped it in time. They just find some grace, something good about this season, because what the actuality is just as a below mediocre team. And if they get to the play-in, they probably win and get into the playoffs, but they gonna get their ass kicked. No matter who it is, Milwaukee, Boston, it don't matter, bro. So we just beating a dead horse here, bro. We just beating a dead horse.
I mean, realistically, right? Having a chip in the chair. Listen, Miami didn't have but a chip in the chair last year, and all of a sudden somebody stepped up and they was able to go out and win. Realistically speaking, you're not relying on Zach LaVine this year the way you were relying on Zach LaVine during the Milwaukee playoff series that the Bulls end up playing 7 against and getting their butts kicked. You're relying more on DeMar DeRozan, Kobe White, and Ayo Dosunmu. Knowing that going into that, you're not waiting for something to come back that may not be the same type of player. I think that there is if the Bulls, let's say they go toe-to-toe, let's say they go to 6 with the Milwaukee Bucks, you feel a little bit better about how this season went because of how the young guys were able to step up. The thing that's tough about it is, though, that doesn't change what the outlook of this season was. That doesn't change what the outlook of this team was. Realistically speaking, we know what Kobe White is now, or at least we feel like we know what Kobe White is now. We know what Ayo Dosunmu can be, especially with a DeMar DeRozan. We have that answer already. And so does a first round exit feel better or worse that you have that answer? I don't know. But for me, a first round exit may be a little bit different this season if you're able to get to that, because of the fact that you have the Chicago Bulls who are now led by Kobe White, now led by Ayo Dosunmu, vocally, defensively, making as a leader, right? Like that, there was a change of the garb this season, and it seems like it's something that's going to stick.
Do you really think it's a change? Go ahead, nephew. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I think that like what these guys are really playing for is not much. I'm really pretty much on the same board as you guys. I mean, what, a first round exit? I mean, yeah, like of course we're gonna be right there ready to rock for the Bulls
course.
for more basketball.
Yeah.
But the reality is that we already know what's gonna be the end result because of how the team is constructed. But Pat, can I interest you in just at least taking it? We know they ain't pretty much playing for much, but would you count it as a win now that you feel like you've seen your young players develop a little bit more? That's your Kobe, your Ayo kind of. You see him maybe kind of bounce back per se compared to last season. And then you start getting more time with Dalen Terry. You see that he's not there yet, but he's coming along. You might have something. You discover that you might have something in Julian Phillips. And then you maybe feel like you can have another young player just to kind of be like, these are some of these pieces. We don't know if we're going to necessarily build around one of these guys, but these are some guys that can kind of help push this thing forward so we can continue to build. How you looking at all that?
It's a win, but it's a win with fear, right? It's a win with the fear of the fact that is Arturas Karnisovas going to go out there and pick the right player? Is Arturas Karnisovas going to go out there and add the right piece that you need realistically that's going to accentuate what Kobe White has been able to do as a starter in the NBA? It's a win because Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu have turned into two players who are on a great deal that you're not sitting here worried about over the next 3 years. But it's a win with the condition that, okay, defensively, what is this team going to be? Team seems like they can lock in defensively at times. Who can shoot the three ball? We're going to go find 4 3-point shooters? No. Are we going to go find? I mean, listen,
they don't grow trees. They don't.
I mean, it's a win in the sense of, yes, the players got better, but it's a question mark in the fear of what is the philosophy of this team? Because listen, Javon Carter, whether it's him or whether it's not, Leroy Carter, whether it's him or whether it's not, him coming to the Chicago Bulls, he shoots less three-pointers. Torrey Craig, him coming to the Chicago Bulls, he doesn't take the three ball the same. He doesn't attack the three ball the same. No matter who the player is that walks in the building, how this team is being put together and coached, how this team is going through their development, they don't shoot the three ball the same as other teams. And listen, I've said this on Locked On Bulls many a times. The Bulls lose more games than not due to math. Chicago Bulls lost the game in which they absolutely should have won because they won every single category you can win.
Crazy, ain't it?
Minus how many three-pointers were taken versus a completion percentage. That is the only stat they lost. And that was the Phoenix Suns game I'm talking about here. The only stat that these mugs end up losing was the three-point shooting comparison. And the Bulls, the entire night, I believe they took 25 three-pointers. I think Phoenix took 35 that night, which is an anomaly for Phoenix. But guess what? If I knock down more threes than you knock down twos, I'm going to win.
Exactly.
It's just math. It's just math.
It's math. The Bulls lose at math like so many Chicago niggas before them.
For sure. Absolutely.
I don't know, bro. That's the part that pisses me off the most when you sit there and look at the fact that the Bulls, when they lose, it's just like, okay, hey, how about you just score a little bit on this drive and you'll probably get, right? How many times have we seen, I'd take the last game as an example, or not last game, Clippers killed us. Game before last where we played Indiana. We won that game. And in that game, Indiana went on a 15-1 run and a 17-5 run. You're not going to win many basketball games doing it.
Not at all.
They have them big lapses in games, and that's a frequent occasion with the Chicago Bulls. So, do you build it? What do you think of Kobe? Is he can be a lead player in this organization? Do we build around Kobe? What do you think of Kobe White?
Kobe is a vocal leader now, and that is very important. Because we haven't had that in 3 years. I think that DeMar DeRozan is a leader by example. I think that Zach LaVine is a leader by example. I know a lot of people out on Zach. I think that Zach is a tough comparison with a lot of stuff, but he's a leader by example. I'm going to go out here and I'm going to score these points. He's a scorer.
Right.
I think that Vooch is more of a leader by example. Kobe White is a leader by example and the vocal, and more so the vocal than the example. That's what I want for my point guard position. So yeah, I can build around Kobe White, but realistically, he's not the superstar on the team. I can, and you look at it kind of like, I'll say this: Golden State, who's their best player?
Steph.
Steph Curry.
Steph, easily. Who's their vocal leader?
Draymond.
Easily. Derrick Rose Bulls. Who was the best player on the team?
Derrick Rose and
Who's the vocal leader?
Joe King.
That's kind of what you have in Kobe White right now. Not to say Kobe White can't be a scorer, not to say Kobe White can't be efficient. I'm not even saying Kobe White can't be the best player on the team. But the fact that he's the most vocal leader that this team has, he is, as Ryan Poles described Darnell Wright on the Bears, the prick that the Chicago Bulls need. That is something that you can build around. That is something that you can set a standard on, because I think when you take Kobe and when you take Io, and the fact that they both become very vocal as far as leaders on this team, if you're going to build around anything, build around that, because Io DeSumo may not be the next Drew Holiday, but if he's the next Alex Caruso, are any of us complaining?
I think it can be that. I think it can be that for sure. Now, you mean a leader or the leader? Because DeMar DeRozan is definitely a vocal leader on this team for sure. While he's still here.
I think here's the thing with DeMar. Not to say DeMar's not a vocal leader, but it's about DeMar's a vocal leader in the sense of give me the ball.
That's right, dog.
Like I'm gonna be a vocal leader in the sense of I'm gonna be about that action when you give me the ball, but give me the ball. Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like DeMar's not holding it. But listen, if DeMar tells Alex Caruso where to be on a defensive assignment, what you think AC gonna say?
He's like, boy, you tweaking. You gotta be tweaking.
In 3 years. So it's like it's not a slight on DeMar. It's not to say DeMar's not a vocal leader, but it's a vocal leader in the fact that, hey, listen, let's stay calm, let's be okay. Everybody relax. DeMar's here.
Right.
I'm with
you. And I think that's kind of the vocal that you get from DeMar.
For sure. We're just continuing on that conversation about Io. I know that the last game we played against the Clippers, we seen Io be the primary ball handler, at least for majority of the game. And he kind of struggled a little bit. But then you see other games to where you do have a Kobe White to kind of take that pressure off of him a little bit. And Io DeSumo can now operate differently, get out in transition, be open in certain situations to where he can hit some threes or at least attempt them for that part. In your opinion, what's the best position for Io to be in? Kind of like that combo guard thing. How are you looking at Io DeSumo?
Io is Alex Caruso. He's the everyman's man, right? He is the whatever you need me to be for that day, I'll be that. But when you look at him positionally, right? Think about Io in Illinois. Io was not a point guard. Io was a dude that ran pick and roll the best with Kofi Coburn, whose name was definitely Cockburn, but they changed that.
Yes,
Illinois started winning.
They think they slick.
I was like, when that change happened?
Right? Come on now. Hold on. Wait a minute now.
How
y'all gonna flip that man name like his mama didn't name him Cockburn?
He is from Jamaica, and his last name is Cockburn. Just stop playing with him, bro. You gotta sell those trash. That's how you build your channel up. But realistically speaking, right? Like it's Io DeSumo as a player is whatever you need him to be. He can be a point guard player, but what is he best at? He's best at being the off-ball guy that gets the ball and an opportunity to create for other people. More people think of that as a point guard than not, but I don't believe that's a point guard position. Let's say I got Kobe White bringing the ball up, everything is setting up. I kick it to Io. Io's one of those players that almost like a three, right? Can drive to the bucket. He's got the speed. He can get to the bucket, make a bucket. He can drive to the bucket. He can hand it off to Vooch for an easy lay. Or he fakes like he can drive to the bucket because he's done it so well, and now all of a sudden he's able to knock down the three ball. Io DeSumo's kind of just the everyman's player, the grit, the grime, the glue that you need on a team, and I love that for Io, and I think that that's why when he came into the league, I kind of was like, this dude could be a Drew Holiday type of player. But I'm to the point where I believe that he's more of a Alex Caruso type, where you look at AC and you just say, AC, I need you to make 4 3-pointers today. Got it. Cool. AC, I need you to stop LeBron today. Got it. Yeah. AC, I need you to I need you to be the guy driving to the bucket today and finishing on easy lays. Got it. AC, I need you to be the rebounder. Got it. I think that that's kind of what Io DeSumo is becoming, and that's the type of player you need. Because guess what? I love AC. But age is coming. We got an older AC, and he's not getting younger as the days go by. And so I think that that's kind of the role that if Io DeSumo embraces that, he will have a very, very long career in this NBA, and that will be where he's able to dominate with the Chicago Bulls.
It just seems that when Ayo, if he gets too much on his plate, like he had to handle majority of the point guard duties last game against the Clippers, and then last year, his sophomore year in the NBA, it was kind of off. It's too much for him. So I like to keep the game simple as possible for Ayo. They're not saying that he dumb or stupid or he can't handle it, but I'm just saying once it's simpler for him, he tends to strive and just go over here and guard him. Shoot the 3-pointer when we get it to you open. Attack when you can get in the open floor and things like that. I don't want to say dumb down, but let's not give him too much in his head to deal with. That's what I think.
I think the thing with Ayo is you kind of have to look at him and say that as a player, I don't think that dumbing down is the right word. I don't think that making it more simple is the right word, but I think that with Ayo as a player, you have to speak to his style of game. Guess what? There's nobody that does that. You don't have a big that Ayo can just float it up to. So you got to go to Vooch. Vooch is more of a floater guy. He's going to finish. Guess what? Ayo DeSumo and Andre Drummond, love that combination. You know why? Drummond can go get it. Yeah, I mean, like that's kind of what it comes down to. And it's not about simplifying it for Ayo DeSumo. It's more about, and even with his sophomore slump, the reason I said that might come for him is because you were asking him to be Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is a point guard, can do everything. He can shoot, he can facilitate, he can get to the bucket. He struggled in the mid-range game, but for the most part, right, like everything you needed a point guard to do, Lonzo could do that. Ayo's not Lonzo. And he's not going to be. And so the makeup of this team with his sophomore slump, when you look at that, Ayo DeSumo is the type of player that, listen, if I'm driving to the bucket, it's probably my bucket. I'm a scoring point guard. I'm a guy that can score the ball more than I can facilitate it. If I've got Andre Drummond rolling with me, I can lead this mug up there, and he's going to find a way to get up there and get it. Like, I think that's more what speaks to Ayo's game. Ayo, I'll say this. You remove Ayo from the Bulls and put him on Dallas right now with Daniel Gafford. And we would talk about Ayo as one of the best bench players in the NBA.
Is we taking Luka off that team? Is he gonna be?
I'm not taking Luka off the team.
Is he gonna be able to handle the ball?
What I'm saying is though that realistically speaking, certain players thrive in certain situations.
Absolutely, I get you.
In a situation where there's somebody that's stupid athletic that can just go get it. Like what I would love to see if Patrick Williams ever figured out, hey, listen, I'm kind of bigger and I can jump higher than everybody. Is Ayo and P. Will pick and roll all day? Because if you run that,
I love that.
Guess what? P. Will can pop. P. Will can roll. Ayo can finish at the bucket. P. Will can go up and get it. Like that would be the thing to me that if you were going to do something where you're playing them kind of off ball, but still want to get them a ton involved and get P. Will involved, I would love to see that kind of combination.
Bro, me too, because I think that's what it really be coming down to with a lot of us, and a lot of people be right on the same accord when you talk about Billy Donovan setting his guys up and putting them in the right positions. I remember, I think sometime last year, you and Hayes, y'all were doing Locked On, and you pretty much saying, hey, Billy Donovan, where's the setup for Patrick Williams to take X amount of shots? I believe you had your number pinned at 10 or some 12 shots, just kind of setting them up for that. And it's always been a question if Billy Donovan is setting them up, but then there's also been the mentality or the questioning of the mentality of Patrick Williams that's kind of slowed him up a little bit. But I definitely agree with the Ayo DeSumo point for sure. I do want to get into this stuff, and the first thing though is gonna be regarding Nikola Vucevic. I'm of the mindset is that cool, you signed him to a decent deal, wasn't a horrible deal. You know that Vuce can still give you something. But I'm looking at all the challenges the Bulls face in pick and rolls, or when a more athletic big comes through, the United Center, or if the Bulls are on the road, Nikola Vucevic is getting killed. And the Bulls have no way to stop it. And I believe that starts to affect the team and how they, or the style that they want to play. So what I'm saying is that I believe there needs to be some type of investment into the front court. We've seen AK and Mark Eversley do a lot of wings and a lot of guards, but I think it's time to invest in that front court. How you feeling about that?
This is a tough one, right? Because, I mean, here's the thing. Would you like Larry Markin here?
I think that would have been solid.
I think yes.
Want to be here.
Larry Markin's not good in pick and roll. Would you like Nikola Jokic here?
Yes.
Nikola Jokic is not good in pick and roll.
Jokic? Joker?
Yeah, not good in pick and roll. Now he's
my God, they got the best pick and roll offense in the league. Him and Jamal Murray.
Not talking about offensively.
Oh, defensively. I'm
defensively.
sorry. Oh yeah,
okay,
no, that's
enough.
trash.
Right?
Yeah, trash.
That's called Euro big. They're usually not that good in pick and roll.
Understood.
Right. I mean, like the only Euro big that most people kind of forget about is Euro because he got darker skin is Giannis, and he's good in pick and roll. But realistically speaking, bigs built like Vooch are not good in pick and roll. Like, why? Because you're more focused on the offensive game for guys like that. Alfarin Şengün, not good in pick and roll. Would y'all like Alfarin Şengün on this team? 100% we would.
Of course.
Here's what I want people to start to do. Get out of your mind Joakim Noah. I love Joakim. He's one of my favorite players. Probably top 4 favorite players on the Chicago Bulls all time. Realistically speaking, Joakim Noah is an anomaly, and he was a better defender than he was an offensive player.
That's true.
If you want a defensive player, go get a defensive player. That's very different. But if you want somebody that's going to contribute offensively, which more of the NBA is going towards, you need a player like Vooch. Now, do we need a younger Vooch? Probably, right? Like that was what you hoped Marko Simonovic was going to be. I don't know why they never played him. He got dunked on a lot. But realistically speaking, you do want that kind of player
right
to be a part of your team because guess what? On the offensive end, I can kick it out to this dude on 3-point line, knocks down the 3. I can kick it out to him in the post, knocks it down in the post. I can kick it out to him in the mid-range, knocks it down in the mid-range. Oh, he's got to drive to the bucket, able to drive to the bucket. You take the L defensively. But when you look at a lot of these dudes that are from the Euro Basketball League, especially the older dudes, nobody sits there and talks about their defense. Most of the teams in the NBA, you don't talk about their defense. We here in Chicago, we live on defense. I don't know if it's because of the Bears. I don't know if it's because of the Cubs, White Sox, whatever it is. But defense is what we live on. Michael Jordan, Defensive Player of the Year. Oh, I got to have that kind of player. No. We can stop people. You want to know why? We got Alex Caruso. We got Ayo Dosunmu. We got Torrey Craig. We've got Andre Drummond. We got dudes that play defense. You know what we need? People that can knock down shots. Vooch can knock down shots. Now, is he knocking them down at a high enough rate this season? No. I think the career is kind of taking a turn towards the end of his career, a little bit of more of a downward trend. But if you told me that the next center that we wanted as our starting center, as our number one guy, was who? Daniel Gafford? I love what Gaff is as a backup.
I like Gafford.
I don't want Gaff as a starter. You want Gaff as a starting center?
I don't see nothing wrong with that, dude. This template of the center that we have with Nick Vooch, it has not worked. Yeah, offensive minded, big man, shoot the 3. He got nice footwork in the paint. It's just not been working for us. I think we need to change the template all the way around. Get us an athletic big man, defensive minded, a lob player, pick and roll, lob player, rebound. You know what I'm talking about. Do you think it's time to change the template?
Right. And so what do you do when you're in a pick and roll and they don't care if you can't shoot the 3 or not? They're going to just guard the paint.
I mean, it's up to the coaches to make you know what I'm saying? They need to make that.
That's what's on the players you got. If I need a player that can shoot the 3, guess what? Daniel Gafford ain't it. If I need a player that can knock down the midi, guess what? Daniel Gafford ain't it. It's not to say Daniel Gafford's a bad player, but he's a perfect player for the amount of players that you have. Who's shooting the 3 on the Bulls? Leroy?
He's steady cooking them.
I'm just saying, like, who's the 3-point shooter?
Well, yeah, Patrick Williams is a 40. Well, let's be honest now. Patrick Williams is a 40% shooter. We don't know how he's going to be when it comes back. Ayo Dosunmu is shooting a 3-pointer pretty well this season. He fell off a little bit. Kobe White is a good 3-point shooter.
Okay.
If you look at the Dallas Mavericks, they got 2 of these guys, and they are very successful this year. David Lively Jr. and Gafford. He just got there. I think we can change the template, and I think we could be a much better team, bro. And it'll help us better defensively, be a more consistent defensive team.
Here's what it comes down to. Can Kobe shoot the 3? Yeah. Can P. Will shoot the 3? Yeah. Can Vooch shoot it? Yeah. Can Ayo shoot it? Yeah. How many are you taking? Again, it goes back to my previous point. We're losing at math.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. And I think that's where it hurts the Bulls.
You're gonna lose.
Yeah, I think that's what hurts the Bulls is that first of all, we already pointed to the everything schematically. We know that the schematics just ain't adding up and the math ain't mathing. And then I also believe that you don't have that specialist, that legit threat, that guy that comes in and give you 7-8 attempts per night. Like that's his job. You don't have that. Like we already brought up the Alex Caruso. He come in, yeah, he can get you 4-5. I believe he even had a game with 6, but it's just not at a consistent pace. So that's what makes it difficult for everybody.
Yeah, and when you have a team that is shooting, the Bulls right now are averaging 32 3-pointers a game.
What's the league average? They
42.
40. Oh, they was shit.
Well, that's who's leading the league, I should say.
Oh, okay.
Boston is at 42 3-pointers a game.
Okay.
But the Bulls are with that 22nd in the NBA in 3-pointers attempt.
It's bad.
Beautiful.
That changes your entire. By the way, Dallas is 2. That changes your entire perspective of attempts per game.
Of course.
And it's not to say that one is better than the other, even though I think the modern NBA is more of I'm going to attempt more 3-pointers than not. Right. But realistically speaking, if I've got a Daniel Gafford, I need to be attempting 39 to 43 pointers a game.
I agree.
If I'm not attempting, if I'm in the where the Bulls at right now, Bulls are attempting 32.8 3-pointers a game. If I'm attempting 32 3-pointers a game, and I'm knocking down 30% of them, 33% of them,
oh, you're losing.
I'm losing the game.
You lose
because not only am I not taking enough, I'm not making
enough. Yeah. Of course.
And that's the biggest problem that the Chicago Bulls have right now. Not only are they not taking enough, they don't make them enough.
So in short, though, do you ever do with all things considered, what we just pretty much talked about, do you think that the Bulls would even consider trading Nikola Vucevic?
Listen, now you're talking about AK. That's a whole different ball game right there.
Yeah.
We need another 2 hours for that part. I don't know. It's not about will they entertain trade Vooch. It's more about who's the next guy up. And the one thing I will say, I think Adama Sanago is Andre Drummond's replacement. I don't think Andre Drummond's here next year. I think Adama Sanago can step in and fill that role really well. Who's the Vooch replacement? Maybe you go out and find him in the draft this year. Bulls are drafting a little bit higher this year. You're not in a position to go out and address the center spot, though.
Yeah,
you're born in a draft that's kind of mid, if we're being honest.
It is.
Yeah, it's not very
like we coming up to the tournament, we all going. I mean, some people
we want to watch this.
For sure, you gotta draft players in theory, right? Like I have to draft somebody, so it makes it very tough. You know what I mean? It's a situation that the Bulls are in right now, where the one draft where you're going to have some picks, and they have picks moving forward. They have to give 2025 to the Spurs here, but realistically, you have picks moving forward. But it's not a great slew of picks here that you're sitting there going, we got a guy here. So you got to kind of use that great eye. Well, is that eye great? Dalen Terry's the 18th overall pick. He can't play.
Oh, you think he can't play, Pat? You don't like his energy. He's been shooting the ball a little bit well. I think he's okay. He's not trash. You think he's trash?
How many minutes did Dalen Terry get?
Not many.
Not many.
Would you
take Leroy's minutes and give him to Dalen?
100%.
There we go.
100%. What changes?
What changed? Oh,
what changes?
You get a better defensively. You get
over Leroy. What changes?
You get better defensively, I think, because they said he was better, good defender, Catfish. I call him Catfish. They said he was better defensively. They said he shot 42% from 3-point range, but you get none of that. But you're going to get a good defender, and he's a good playmaker. He is I'm not going to call him a great passer. He's a good passer, bro. He can make things happen. And he sparks the team. He gets the team spirits up. I'm just trying to. It's not winning over Pat, bro.
Pat said that shit. Oh,
I just want to know, what's Dalen Terry's defensive rating?
I don't know.
Well, since Pat knows
where's it at?
Pat, you're bringing it up. That means it's bad.
Is it bad?
A 115.
He only played 5 minutes a game. Shit.
I mean, listen, he's played minutes this season. They can only take it off of the minutes he's played. It's 115. What is Dalen Terry's best impact that you've seen from him? Is there is there a Dalen Terry game? Is there a moment where you were like, this guy? Now, do I think that Billy Donovan is underutilizing him? Yeah, I do. I think that if you've drafted a guy 18th overall, you need to put him on the court.
Absolutely.
But realistically speaking, what has Dalen Terry done that tells you that you have to put him on the court? Because
I think that he's still behind.
I've seen what Javon Carter has done on a previous team that tells me, now, do I want to see him on the court? No, Leroy needs to stop. But I've seen what he's done on a previous team that if he plays like he did on that team before this, there's more hope there.
Yeah,
going down the development line. Yeah, let's develop this dude. Let's play him. Let's put him on the court. Let's see what he's got. But realistically, we've seen what Dalen Terry's got. What he's got is energy.
Mm-hmm. Is that a guy? Is that all you got? That's all you got. That ain't worth anything in the NBA.
I mean, I see what Pat coming from. That's all he really has. We seen little moments, but I still think that Dalen Terry is still a little behind. I'm happy that he has calmed down a lot, but he's still got a few steps to take before you could be like, okay, let's get consistent minutes. But I've been beating the damn desk because I'd rather see him on the court than Javon Carter pump faking 10 times.
Listen, Javon Carter's defensive rating ain't good either. He's trash too. 118 is not better, right? Dalen Terry is a better defender, but realistically speaking, we're begging for like somebody who's a mediocre defender to play more than a worse defender just because he's a younger defender.
That's fair. I think that's fair, Pat. That ain't fair.
Like I like Dalen. I want to say I like the dancing. I like the fun. I like everything that Dalen brings. But we beating the table for a dude that's what?
Not ready.
A dude.
Do you not think Dalen can get better? Do you not think he can get better?
Here's what I tell you. How much better are the Chicago Bulls with Dalen Terry?
We haven't seen it yet, but I think he can definitely help with his length.
Let's not act like he ain't played his length. He's played. Dalen Terry's been in games. If you didn't forgot about it, then that tells you all you need to know. Like, how much better are the Chicago Bulls if Dalen Terry's playing in the game versus Javon Carter?
I think better. I don't know how much better, but they're better. I'll say that.
What, 2 points? 3 points? 4 points?
I think it's
a lot.
I think it's gonna be kind of the same, man. Honestly, because if you think about it, Javon Carter gets on your nerves just about every game. But in games like the LA Clippers, you wouldn't see Dalen Terry even attempt that many threes that Javon Carter attempted last night. So you wouldn't even, you gonna get some defense and maybe a little bit of playmaking here and there, but you would not see the scoring attempts or at least the attempt to put points in the basket. Because Dalen Terry, we seen that he's still pump faking as well, or he just passing out shots. So
here's the problem. Where was Dalen Terry taken? He's the 18th overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to play. You're supposed to be something. What was Javon Carter taking?
Was he undrafted?
Javon Carter come out the G League. He undrafted.
Right.
West Virginia.
So we sitting here talking about a dude that's like man versus a dude that's like man. We've had 20 minutes of discussion on this for a couple of dudes that don't matter. I mean, like that's where it get crazy, bro. Like I get it. We love our players, but realistically speaking, what impact are they having on the court for the team that you've currently built? Now, different team, different players, all of that. Dalen Terry might be better. Guess what? Daniel Gafford better when you got Luka and Kyrie on the court.
Of course.
He wasn't that Daniel Gafford here. He wasn't that Daniel Gafford in Washington.
Nope.
I mean, so it's like it situation plays into it. But the fact that you drafted a dude 18th overall with players that went behind him in Walker Kessler, who is actually making an impact on the court, that sucks.
For sure.
You missed.
All right, last one before we get you up out of here, Pat. What should the Chicago Bulls do with DeMar DeRozan? What's your early prediction on that whole situation?
You can't overpay for DeMar. You can't.
Nope.
You can't. You can't go. I love DeMar. I love what he does. I love how he plays. I love everything he brings. But the last that we heard from DeMar DeRozan is they're far apart on money. They're far apart on years. Now, listen, if you want to give DeMar $20 million over the next couple of years, fine, because of how the NBA salary cap is going. It's more of a percentage-based thing now than ever. And percentage-wise, $20 million on your salary cap is nothing. If you want to give them $25 million, I'm fine with it. When you start getting to the $30, $35, $40 million,
yeah, you out of your mind. For
you
sure.
out of your mind. And I think that's probably what DeMar thinks of himself as. And I think that he's saying, listen, if I'm going to play on a team that doesn't win like that, like we need to be winning, I'm not taking a pay cut. I might take $20 million on the Clippers. I might take $20 million on OKC. I might take $20 million on Miami, but I'm not taking $20 million here in Chicago. And realistically, if you're far apart on money and years, you ain't got a contract.
Not at all. Because that's like one of the most right. That's crazy. For sure.
Yeah.
That is crazy. CDubb, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, man, he said it all correctly about DeMar DeRozan, man. You love him. He do a lot for this team. He did a lot for this organization. But, man, this might be it right here. This guy, I think he got to be.
Yeah.
I think it got to be, dude.
For sure.
It's too, because it's like you know he can ball. You know he's probably got, listen, shooting that mid-range shot, you got maybe 3-4 more years out of it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He's the Stephen Curry of the mid-range.
Oh, I agree 100%.
Like he's that level of player, but realistically speaking, what does that get you?
I think he
first round exit, big dog.
I think he deserves it. I think he needs to go to a good team and compete for a championship, bro. This is
yeah. Go ahead.
I'm with you on that,
bro. Yeah.
For sure. Well, Pat, you got any parting words, my guy?
Hey man, I appreciate y'all for having me on, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me, and I ain't never forgot where I came from. Yeah, I mean, I'm always welcome to come through on the Shy Bulls podcast.
For sure. Big shout out to you, my guy. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all already know it's up there. This family right here, we're going to continue to rock. Y'all make sure y'all lock in, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. This is another episode of Shy Bulls Podcast. We're going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Peace.
Cognac. Gang.